talk Pats Browns. Pats -1.5. We've been riding the Patriots. I don't think Harris is going to play. I think Ramondre will play. I think we'll see some J.J. Taylor and some Brandon Bolden. Look, the Browns, it's a team that if they can make a couple big plays, it feels a little different than if Baker has to go down the field on you. And I think Belichick is just going to make sure that Baker slowly, methodically has to go down the field. He knows what to do. Keep hitting Baker, keep knocking him around, keep trying to put them in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. We're not going to have Chubb in this game, which it doesn't sound like.
Well, if there's a chance tomorrow and Saturday or Sunday, he gets.
I'm going to bank on no Chubb.
Okay.
I just think they're going to beat them. I'm in on this Pats team. I'm in on the front seven. I think it's a good team.
Yeah,
and I think to get less than a field goal at home against the Browns, I'm taking it.
Couple questions. Who do you think has more at stake in this game, Mac or Baker?
I think the Patriots have more at stake in this game because they have to play Atlanta on Thursday night.
Yep.
So
and they've got Buffalo twice coming up.
This is the biggest 120 hours of the season for them because you figure best case scenario they split the Buffalo games. But they're 5-4. They could legitimately be 5-6 in 120 hours.
You're right.
So this is can't fuck around with the Browns. I think they can run on them. I think they can control the ball and move the ball. The Garrett part scares me. Like there's no question.
He's amazing.
Garrett
did you hear
hit the
Belichick,
shit out of Mac Jones? Yeah.
You hear Belichick talking about him?
Yeah.
Belichick was talking about Garrett as if it was LT. Like that's how he was talking about him. And I think he's being honest with that. That's the big X factor. And I think Trent Brown might be coming back. That's the word. And that helps.
There's some decent Isaiah Wynn stuff. Evan Lazar, who is a good Pats beat writer, was tweeting out some Isaiah Wynn numbers this week. And I was like, all right.
Isaiah Wynn?
Yeah, I was like, all right. Only 1 sack allowed. Might not have been a spot. I'm feeling good. But I think this is a Baker game. I think this is a Baker versus Belichick game. And I think Belichick will figure out how to basically defang Baker in this game. Yeah. I think Baker is a limited quarterback.
You know, back in 2018, and I reported it for NFL Network on the draft, and everyone was like, it was a big story at the time. I'm like, it was the day after, but Baker went 1, so it was whatever. But if Baker had slipped out of 1, I know that the Patriots were very interested in moving up with Brady on the roster to go get Baker. So they had this great feeling of respect for him. I wonder if Baker elevates his game on this stage with everyone wondering about his future. Because here's the deal. Baker, if they lose, they're 5-5. They'll figure it out, whatever. Maybe they're a wild card, maybe they're not. Like Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield to me were the two most interesting quarterbacks going into the season because there's these looming contracts. And it's like, what do you pay Lamar Jackson who, you know, if we don't pay him, like what's his value? Lamar's been amazing. Can Baker Mayfield demand $35 million this offseason?
No, it's not happening.
So what do you do if you're Cleveland? Do you just say, we'll go for a 5th year and we'll ride this out? Like if he wins these type of games though, he can make a real argument for himself that like, yeah, my stats aren't the best and my physical stature is not Josh Allen or Lamar, but like I win those games. I get them done for you. Going into New England.
I would tell him to settle down if he gave me that argument. How many times do you think he's thrown for 250 yards this season?
Against the Chargers, maybe?
Twice.
Chargers and Cardinals? Who Chargers?
I think there's certain guys in the league that when the team is up early and they're playing with a lead, it's completely different to have them as the QB. Then like, everything falls into place for them. If it's a nail-biter game, if it's a dogfight, if it's, we're down 7, if the QB actually has to make some plays, I'm sorry, but Baker's playing with one arm. And the Pats are going to hit the shit out of him. Their front seven's really good.
And like
they're going to hit the shit out of him in this game.
Nick Chubb's one of the top 10 players in the league.
I can't imagine he's playing. He legitimately had COVID. It's not like he has
COVID. Yeah,
COVID proximity. He had COVID.
So the rule is if he can have 2 straight negative tests and has no symptoms, he can play. Now, the honor code on the symptoms part, but if he has 2 straight negative tests, he can play, and he's got a few days for that. So, but he's that good. And Ernest Johnson's been fine as a number 2, but
I like him. He's all right.
Felton's out because of COVID, Chubb, and then obviously Hunt. So it's like, all right, Baker, you might have to go win this game on your own on offense.
Jarvis, you're just not catching anything today. Belichick will take him out. They
Peoples
won't let
Jones had a
Peoples
few.
Jones go deep. You don't get to go deep in this game. And then they're going to hit the shit out of Baker. And I think the defense wins this game. I like the Pats.
How about the Pats being red hot with everyone crapping all over us, dude? Isn't it great?
We'll have the last laugh. Last game.
The Falcons +9 against the Cowboys. We're going to boost that. We're going to tweak it.
Explain this one to me.
Yeah.
Cowboys, they lose Gregory this week.
Yeah.
They've already lost to Marcus Lawrence.
Uh-huh.
They had 2 pass rushers of the entire team. Last week, part of the problem with that Broncos game was they had no pass rush at all. Like Bridgewater had time. They were running the ball down their throats. And I think that defense, which was able to get some turnovers in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, which always kind of throw it off. But the longer we're going with this team, defense just isn't that good. And I think the Dan Quinn stuff, teams, whatever, they obviously had some game tape to look at. Now, I really like their offense, but, you know, Matt Ryan's been pretty good the last few weeks. They can move the ball. I'm looking at that +9. I'm looking at even if it's like, all right, Dallas is up 14 last 2 minutes, I can get a cheap touchdown. I think they can hang around in this game, though, and I like the +9.
I think they can win this game.
Yeah, I do too.
I honestly do. And you mentioned the defensive injuries. You know, Micah Parsons had a big game last week, but a lot of that was 2.5 sacks and like 11 tackles. But in a game where you lose by 30 points, it's not, it's hard to hang your hat on that.
Yeah, I guess Parsons is there still the
He's
pass
so
rusher.
good.
Yeah,
He's
so
good.
they had 3 pass rushers. They're down to 1. I'm sorry, Dallas fans.
It's all right. So the Dan Quinn piece is interesting because obviously he's the defensive coordinator, but what team knows Dan Quinn better than the Atlanta Falcons? Right. So in comes Matt Ryan, who's looking at the Dan Quinn defense, which, okay, it's this for inferior players than what I was against in Atlanta. He's like, I saw this every single practice for years.
Yeah.
There's a weird stat. There's never been a head coach who took a team to the Super Bowl, play against that team who's been a defensive coordinator. So he's had offensive coordinators come back and play a team, but there's never been a defensive coordinator. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm being Pollyanna on this and like Matt Ryan is, but I feel like he's a really cerebral quarterback, knows that defense inside and out, knows that scheme, and I think he could pick it apart. And guess what? Patterson is really good.
It's one of the weirdest later career resurgences I can remember. It's a little like Julius Randle-ish.
That's it with the Knicks. You're right.
But even like if Julius Randle did this 3 years from now, not like last year,
He's
or you're going
ninth year in the league, and he's like, and he's also like a little chirpy. Like they interviewed him. James Palmer from the NFL Network interviewed him after the game, and he's like, "Ooh, there's no sweeter feeling, and there's no better sound than a silent Superdome." And you're like, "Whoa,
yeah, where'd you come from?"
9 years in, he's their go-to guy. Pitts is fine. Gage is fine. They don't have Ridley for now. We'll see what happens with Ridley, but like this team can move the ball on offense, and Matt Ryan is a veteran quarterback who knows that defense. I might take them outright. I like it.
And who's covering Pitts on the Cowboys?
I don't know.
I like that game, but I like it more if we can we can nudge the Falcons up to 10.5.
Come on, let's go.
-130, which means we would have to put them with a big favorite to try to even out the money, which we like to do from time to time. We could do Falcons to +10.5 with Bucks just to win -450.
Love it.
That's +116. Or we could do Falcons +10.5 with Cards -500. That's +112. I'm more partial to the Bucks. I say that knowing that there's some receiver stuff. Now, this is where I give you my fantasy sleeper for this weekend because I picked him up in 2 leagues. I think it's Tyler Johnson week.
Oh,
Kyle, turn the camera on.
Let's go.
It's Tyler Johnson week. Here we go. I think Brady likes him. I've seen him make good plays in
two
big
of the clutchest
spots.
plays last year against the Saints. 3rd and 8. They go to Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, we don't have Chris Godwin. I think they're okay. I think Tyler Johnson can do a Chris Godwin impersonation. And I think Brady sniffs it. He's very aware of what their schedule is, what's going on with the Rams, the Rodgers stuff, MVP possibilities. I think they run the slate. I don't think they lose again. I think this is it, and it starts this week.
They did it last year. They went on their bye. They came out. They beat Minnesota in kind of a slugfest, and then they never lost a single game after the bye.
This is usually when he gets going, too. So +116 for that combo.
I also would say Washington's defense, it's amazing. They're last in the league in pass defense. Apparently, Chase Young has been not the greatest, guy to be wearing the C on his jersey this year as far as like leadership of the defensive unit. There's a disconnect between the defensive coordinator, Del Rio, and the players. I think that this is the perfect game for Tampa Bay. They come out there and Tyler Johnson, Cyril Grayson, who had a big touchdown 2 weeks ago against the Saints. Like, there's going to be some unlikely names, but Brady's got it. I trust Brady.
There's a world also with the Falcons where they could be 6-4 in 120 hours.
Oh yeah, they beat those two.
Or in a week. They could upset with the Cowboys. Oh my God, let's go to Dallas where Atlanta scored again, and then all of a sudden they're beating the Pats 4 days later. Or I could see them being 4-6.
Yeah, I mean,
in a week, and we're like, hey, remember when we thought the Falcons might
we
make
did the whole
playoffs?
Falcon spiel? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Underdog parlays. Falcons are plus 320. 49ers are plus 162. The Raiders are plus 124 against the Chiefs. And the Seahawks, who we have not mentioned, who I think we should stay away from, are plus 154.
I just don't know what Rodgers' status
So I think we
is.
crossed them off. We'll wipe them out. So we could do Falcons, Raiders, plus 840.
Wow.
And I have good news for you. FanDuel is going to boost that over 10-1 for us. Falcons, Raiders, 10-1. Both have to win.
Were the FanDuel people happy that we lost at the end with the Ravens beating?
I think they were. I think they were relieved. We came so close. We were up 10 in both games, second half.
We had the Falcons, and then we were waiting for the Vikings. They get the ball back, and it's like, just get to field goal range. They didn't even give our guy Greg Joseph a chance.
Raiders, Vikings is plus 455. Both have to win. Those are two small dogs, but I'll mention that. I'm going to throw this at you. Better
give me something crazy, Bill.
Falcons.
Yeah.
Vikings.
Yeah.
Raiders.
Yes.
Plus 2,223. Bet 100. Bet 100. You win $2,200 basically. 22-1 odds, a little higher. Falcons, Vikings, Raiders. It's the mega dog parlay.
This is the
we
MDP.
Haven't done one of those. We could put a little 10K flyer on it.
Oh my God, I love MDP, the mega dog parlay.
The mega dog parlay. We're looking for, FanDuel asked me if we could figure out a way to nickname Underdog Parlay of the Week. Because on their little boost site, because they love the boost, but call it like the mega dog or whatever. So if anybody has any suggestions, send it to Schrager's Twitter replies.
All to my
he
Twitter.
Loves it.
I check it all day.
And then you can yell at him for saying "let's go" too much. That's the other thing. Although you come back, this is your lowest "let's go" rate you've had in a while.
Toned it down. I don't kiss your ass on the Patriots. I toned it down. Let's just go. Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're taking the Patriots again. By the way, two things on the Patriots: 10th in DVOA last 5 weeks.
Okay.
Plus 60 point differential for the season. Evil Mac Jones.
I know. What's the twisting of
the evil Mac Jones?
What'd you make of it?
Wrestling heel Mac Jones. I think he needed an identity. He was like just the guy who was
Does that
pretty steady
himself to you guys, like the Patriots fans?
I loved it. I loved it.
Did you? You loved it.
I love that Brian Burns wanted an apology. You're a fucking football player. You knocked out two of our running backs. Are you going to apologize to them?
Burns was like, it's crazy. I look at the NBA and like the Joe Kicks, like I read that like Joe Kicks' brothers are like going to a game.
going to Miami.
That's amazing.
I thought he just didn't want Burns to get the fumble, so he grabbed his leg.
I don't know his intentions. I know it only adds to the myth of the evil empire. Oh, gosh.
I love it.
Of course you're leaning into it.
The heel, Mac Jones. All right, when we come back, we're going to give you our $1 million picks for week 10. Hey, before we do $1 million picks, I read something about home field advantage this year. I remember when I was, even before Grantland, I'm going to say 2008, 2009 for ESPN, I wrote a big piece about home field advantage was starting to change. Because when I was growing up, the home team would win like 70% of the time, 75% of the time. It was a lot. There was a real home field advantage. It started to shift in the mid-2000s. And I spent like 3 days working on this piece. I was looking at records and coming up with all these theories, like whether it was people just like being at home with their TVs or they didn't want to be out, and had all these theories. and home field shifted a little bit, and then it kind of stabilized.
Now it's even, right? If anything, I think road wins more than home.
It's unbelievable. Last year, 2020, so COVID, road teams won more than home teams. I'm not talking about covering the spread. I'm talking about winning.
That's crazy.
It started to happen in 2019. The home teams were 132 and 123 and 1. So they were only 9 games over 500. This is pre-COVID.
Yeah.
By far the worst record we've had. This year, after Sunday's games, home teams were 65 and 70. And then Pittsburgh won at home. So there were 6. So now it's 66 and 70. We're taping this before we see who wins the Miami
Dolphins.
game. So home teams, just to win, are under 500.
So weird.
And what's happening, I did some research on it. The old rule of you get 3 points if you're home, Vegas has basically thrown that out. And I think that's kind of thrown off my internal calibration. Now it's like 1 to 1.5 points for being home.
It's really interesting.
So like the Broncos in the old days is just like, oh, there's Broncos 3.5. Now it's Broncos 2.5. Because they don't really feel like home. It doesn't even matter where the game's being played. So I tried to factor that into some of these picks this week, but here we go. The $1 million picks. Oh, wait, before we do this, we didn't talk about Tennessee and the Saints. Tennessee's favored by 3 against the Saints. I wanted to take the Titans. Kamara might not play. Who knows? Trevor Simeon looks too easy. It's fishy. There's a fishiness to that line. Titans playing great. Kicked the Rams' ass last week. Defense looking awesome. They figured out how to play with Derrick Henry. Something scares me about it. I'm staying away. I don't know. This is a Michael Conrad, let's be careful out there game. I'm staying away.
You
too
mentioned
fishy.
it.
Too easy.
You mentioned it, though. Like, is it fishy when your defense is just awesome? Because that's the one thing I would say. Like, Jeffrey Simmons and Danico Autry and Kevin Byard playing like a defensive player. Like, the offense, you could say, their defense is really good. Don't you think their defense could just dominate that Saints depleted offense?
Very possibly. I'm staying away.
Okay.
I don't know why the line's not 3.5 or 4. I can't figure it out. Because this is Trevor Simeon, injured Kamara. Michael Thomas is never coming back, apparently. No. And I just think it seems like the Titans, they seem so easy. Anyway, staying away. Here we go. The $1 million picks for week 10. We are up 579,000 for the season. We've had 2 losing weeks in a row. Schrager, we've lost almost $1 million the last 3 weeks.
It hurts.
And we're going to win all of it back this week. We're opening up a little bit.
Let's go.
Patriots -1.5 against the Browns. Bill Belichick unlocking Baker Mayfield, putting him in a body bag, and sending him back to Cleveland. We're putting $400K on this.
$400K?
The Atlanta Falcons, we are nudging them. They're +9 in Dallas. We're going to nudge that over the 10 mark. +10.5.
Yeah.
-130. Well, we need something to put with it. A little chaser, like a cranberry and vodka, like a nice martini.
That's it.
Bucks -450. Bucks just have to beat Washington.
They'll do that.
Washington, disarray. Get them out of here. You put those two together, +116.
I like that.
Falcons +10.5. Bucks just to win. Grabbing that. What makes you nervous out of that between those two?
The Falcons, the
Falcons just getting demolished.
Yeah, I'm in though. I'm in. I've seen Matt Ryan win a lot of big games, and then the next week, not win a big game.
They call him Matty Ice. He's really Matty Garbage Time. There's nobody you want more when you're down 13. Third one, a possible one of the locks of the year for me. Broncos at home.
Let's go big on this.
We're gonna do $400K. We're putting that with the other two. Broncos $400K -2.5 against this crappy Philly team that's 2-6 in their last 8. That is desperately wants to be one of the worst 10 teams in the league because they have 3 first-round picks. They're so excited to see the draft board for people to go, oh my God, the Eagles, they got 3, 7, and 9. Jesus, holy mackerel. They don't care about this game. If they cared, they'd be playing my guy Minshew. Now they're throwing out Jalen Hurts again. Teddy Bridgewater raining all over them. Just completions. Javonte Williams, a Kyle Brandt angry run special. 2 weeks in a row. So that's it. Broncos, 400K, 2.5. Now we're going to do two more.
Whoa, Bill.
200K Vikings, +3 over the Chargers. 200K Raiders, +2.5 over the Chiefs.
Okay.
And then the underdog parlay, boosted up by FanDuel, our friends at FanDuel, who we burned once. We cost them $2.5 million 2 weeks ago. It almost happened again. We almost cost them like $4 million last weekend. And now we're going to do it again. Falcons, Raiders, boosted from +840 to 10-1.
Love it.
We're going to be putting 33K on that. And just for fun, just for shits and giggles.
Just a little bit of this.
10K, little sprinkle, splash the pot.
Hey, your favorite number is 33, obviously. My favorite number, I'm a Walt Frazier guy. Do you know Walt Frazier?
12K?
Number? Is it 12?
What was Frazier, 10 or 12?
I think it's 10.
Who was 12?
Is Earl Monroe 10?
Yeah, Earl Monroe was 10. 12? What number was Walt Frazier? Oh, no, we have to look this up. It's $1 million Picks Monkey Wrench. Walt Frazier. No, I think you're right. I think he was Knicks. I think he was 10. Walt Frazier, Knicks.
This is so funny.
Oh, look at these images coming up.
15?
Oh, he was number 10. No,
10? I thought 10. What was Earl Monroe was 15, right?
Right. Earl Monroe was 15. Little 10K splash.
Why not?
Falcons, Vikings, Raiders. The mega dog parlay. 10K plus 222. Plus 2020. We win $222,000 if we win this.
I'll get Walt Frazier to do a cameo for you if we hit this. Let's go.
Well, Walt would say this was an audacious parlay.
Stupendous.
All right. Hey, which one are you most excited about of all those $1 million picks?
I love it all. I love the big one. And I think that the Falcons beating the Cowboys, Dan Quinn coming in there, Matt Ryan looking at it, laughing and saying, I know this defense.
You know what's going to be hilarious about that Falcons game? They're going to be up 20-7 in the third quarter. And we're going to be texting each other. And then Matty Ice is going to start doing the stuff he does. We know this going in. We know he might hurt our feelings.
I don't know if what your text chains are like with Hench and with Mina Kimes and Danny Kelly, but all Bill and I text, it's just the name of the team and an exclamation mark. Like we'll go Falcons exclamation mark. That's it. That's the entire text chain. It's just team exclamation mark. And it's like, oh, something happened in that game. Let's toss it on. Yeah, that's it.
Those were the $1 million picks for week 10.